Hello Maverick Nation, I'm Charlie Leach.
And I'm Ryan Hogan. Welcome back to MavTV.
We have some great stories for you this week, as well as a wrap-up of Winter SPC.
You might have heard the term Zen Zone around the school, but didn't know what the buzz was about.
Well, here's Pierce Glanville to show us exactly what the Zen Zone is.
Hi, I'm Pierce Glanville from MavTV. Normally people go into the academic commons expecting to see hardworking, studying students, but there's been a new addition in the back corner, the Zen Zone. The Zen Zone is actually the only place in the library wherever you are not allowed to study. In addition to this, there's a speaker to play chill music and cushions to help you relax. In order to find out more, we decided to interview students to see what they thought about the Zen Zone. So, George, I know you visit the Zen Zone a lot. What's your favorite part about the Zen Zone?
I just love coming in here to relax. I love how it's sort of just like a stress-free zone. I can come in here, put down my backpack, sort of move aside the work, and just focus on my body, my mental state. I can listen to music, draw colors. It's a great time.
Yes, I feel like, soft, quiet, relaxing music really does help me unwind from a stressful school environment.
I know it's supposed to be a place of inclusivity, but I feel like sometimes people come in here and use it the wrong way. And I feel like if the rules were enforced just a little bit more, and maybe people who come in and don't sort of use it for what it's intended to should be reprimanded, or maybe have like a 3-strike system. Like if you're coming in here and coming in here and doing things that aren't very zen, it's like, dude, not cool. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think they would need to add blankets or more pillows or something that could make it even more zen?
Yeah, I'd love some blankets. I'd love maybe some kind of like vibey, like colored lights. Some more coloring books. I know that there's an abundance, but sometimes you just want to color some like superheroes, and there's kind of only adult coloring books, and it's like, dude, like not all of us are adults. You know what I'm saying?
In order to find out more, we decided to head down to administration and talk to Ms. LaGrange.
Well, I think one of the most important things is that it gives an opportunity for students to get centered, concentrate, focus, and maybe clear their thoughts before a big assessment, a project, or even a homework assignment.
Would you propose any improvements to the space, or do you think it's pretty good as is?
My understanding is that it's pretty good, but again, I think the most important thing is to have that kind of space where you can clear your thoughts, your mind, and kind of get grounded and focused before something that's going on, and people around you understand and know that you're in there to be quiet. That it's important because it does affect and make an impact on the brain. When we're overscheduled or we have a lot of things that we're trying to multitask, we're not designed to multitask, and so it really gives students the opportunity to ground themselves, get focused, clear their thoughts, so that way they can approach all of the different tasks that they have in front of them and going on.
Would you rather have this Zen Zone than having another study room? Because I've heard some controversy that's been going around about people saying, we need that extra study room, we need that.
There's always study rooms open. There's only one Zen Zone, and it's here to stay. So to those out there who don't want it, just get ready, because Zen Zone's taking over, son.
This is Pierce Glanville from MavTV, signing out.
Before we dive into how well the Mavericks did at SPC, let's take a look at what it's like to be an athlete at St. John's.
That's right, Lucy Hare gives us a look into a day of the life of a Maverick athlete.
Hi, I'm Lucy Hare with MavTV, and today we're going to be taking a look into the lives of student athletes at St. John's. How much time do you spend in athletics a day, and how much time on homework?
I would say I spend equal amounts, between club and school, 4 hours a day for soccer, and then 4 hours on homework a night usually.
I swim for about 2 hours a day, and then do dry land for about 30 minutes, and then homework takes another hour and a half-ish.
I think I'd probably spend about 3 hours in athletics a day, probably about the same doing homework.
When I was doing cheer and field hockey, I would spend 3 to 3.5 hours on athletics a day, and I would probably, after that, I'd spend 2 hours on homework.
During a sports season, I'll spend anywhere from 2 to 3 hours on sports a day, and then I'll get home and probably work for 2 hours.
Yeah, so I have morning workouts in the morning for about an hour, and then practice for like 2 hours in the afternoon, and then homework's like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Athletics, 2 to 3 hours usually. Homework, about 2 hours.
Varsity practices are usually like 2 hours, and it depends if we go in the weight room in the morning or you do something extra like after practice.
How much sleep do you guys think you get on nights when you have sports?
6 hours?
6, 7 hours.
7 hours of sleep.
Probably like 4 hours.
Anywhere between 4 and 8 hours.
Like a good 8.
Probably closer to 8.
7 to 8 during season, and off season is probably more like 8 to 9.
Do teachers tend to accommodate your athletic schedule?
Yeah, for the most part.
Fantastic question, Lucy. They absolutely do.
I feel like teachers can get frustrated if you're in a season that has a lot of tournaments or like reasons to leave class. But besides that, yes, they are accommodating.
Yeah, they're always like willing to let me move stuff, so that's nice.
Yes, absolutely. As long as I tell them, they're usually willing to let me get extensions and stuff.
Yeah, they do a good job. So when we have late meets, I can email them. They should be fine if I can't get stuff done.
Yeah.
So as long as you're clear, you're honest, and you go early and tell them, they're accommodating.
Do you feel pressure to excel in both areas, and if so, which one more so?
Probably school more so.
Yes, there's the same amount of pressure on academics, no matter if you're doing a sport or not doing a sport.
I'd say overall, it's probably more pressure academically, just because in season is just one season, but academically there's always that pressure no matter what else is going on. So
Yeah, my parents stress the importance of academics over athletics.
They're both important, especially for athletes at St. John's, that the academics are a great way to help you get into college, even with the athletics. So like academics and athletics both are super important.
Yes, but I would say like soccer more.
I mean, if you can handle 2 really tough challenges, like the academics here are really tough and the sport I'm in is pretty tough, so if I can excel in both of those at the highest level, then I mean, I think I'm setting myself up for a pretty good future.
But I think it takes like a special kind of person to put in tons and tons of work in sports and still maintain a really solid set of grades.
Do you tend to see a change in your grades during on and off season?
Yes, my grades are definitely a little higher during off seasons. A little more time doing work, a little more sleep.
Not really, but I swim year-round.
Not really.
I feel like I do better when we're in season because then I know like I actually have to get my homework done like when I have the time versus during like off season I like put it off and like don't do it until later.
Not really anymore. Maybe my freshman year a little bit, but I've gotten used to it.
I don't have an off season, so.
That was some really interesting information. Thanks, guys. This was Lucy here with MavTV. Back to you in the studio.
This winter sports season, there were some great Maverick moments.
And here's our MavTV sports team to give us the details.
The 2020 Winter SPC Championships finished up last weekend in Dallas, with the Mavericks taking home 2 championships and 2 runner-up trophies.
Swimming and diving started things off Thursday at the Louisville Aquatic Center. The boys team finished runner-up for the second year in a row. They held the lead most of the day, but St. Mark's edged ahead by 5 points for the team win.
The girls' team only won a handful of events, but with their depth, they cruised to their 3rd consecutive SPC championship by a 22-point margin over second-place Hockaday. The team left it all in the pool, except for the singing of the alma mater after the awards ceremony.
Boys basketball lost their first game on a buzzer beater to Oak Ridge, but rebounded with 2 wins against ESD and St. Andrews to finish 9th overall.
Girls basketball won convincingly in their first game over Trinity Valley and lost their next 2 against Kincaid and Fort Worth Country Day to finish 7th in the SPC.
Girls soccer faced a competitive field from the North Zone, winning their first game 3-1 over Trinity Valley, and needing overtime to finish off ESD in the semifinals. In the championship finals, St. John's ran out of time, losing 1-0 to host Hockaday.
Boys soccer grabbed 5th place on 2 wins and a loss. The team defeated ESD in PKs in the opener and finished with a 3-2 win over Green Hill. The Mavericks relied on senior field player James Redding to take over as the starting goalkeeper, a position he had not played since middle school. Here's what Redding had to say after the first win.
It's the first time I played in 4 years. I stopped playing after freshman year, so it was interesting, a little squeaky bumpy, but we got it done in the end, and I'm glad it all worked out.
I love you, baby.
Wrestling won their 5th consecutive SBC title to go along with their 2 back-to-back state titles this season. The Mavericks were contested early on by EHS, holding on to a 5-point lead in the finals, but St. John's finished strong and ended up with 8 SBC champions on the day. Their 52-point margin of victory was more than enough to strike up the singing of the alma mater before heading back to Houston.
Way to go, Mavericks!
Those were some great stats from our swimming and diving and wrestling teams.
And speaking of stats, do you remember getting a questionnaire from our statistics class? Well, here is an in-depth investigation from William Sanders on just what those answers revealed.
Hi, my name is William Sanders with MavTV, and today we'll be looking into a stat project measuring self-confidence levels of students here at St. John's. Let's find out more. It was the beginning of junior year, and all of a sudden the students of the class of 2021 were buzzing. They had all received a questionnaire in their emails asking them to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how funny, smart, and attractive they were.
I was like, oh no, I have to rate myself. Because, I mean, you don't want to, even if it's anonymous, you don't want to like come off like you're not humble. Most people would skew it like they'd underrate themselves. I mean, I think like any teenager has self-confidence issues. It's just kind of like the part of growing up. But I think that at St. John's we have generally competitive people, which kind of exacerbates it a little bit. I think smartness, I think people will be like pretty much in the middle. I think for funny, it's going to be a lot higher. I think people are more confident in admitting they're funny than smart or attractive.
I read the survey and I chose not to answer it because I didn't feel like Zoe and Jim needed to know how I ranked myself. Because I feel like it's personal. I'm pretty confident. I'm not really insecure about anything. Like, I didn't want them to be like, oh, she ranks herself too highly or too lowly. No, I just didn't want them to know. Like, what were they going to use it for? They didn't tell us that.
So we had a project in statistics that was like about how anonymity affects people's responses to sensitive questions. Like, I think the anonymous portion of it, like if you're anonymous, like you're willing to be as self-confident as you want, but like once it's non-anonymous, you cannot be as confident because like there's no more self-esteem because you're vulnerable and you're out there and like your results are there for everyone to see. So you might be hesitant to say you're as smart as you really think you are. Every single survey that was not anonymous, people would lower their expectations of themselves. So like, for example, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how smart do you think you are? The mean for the anonymous people was 7.69, but for people who were non-anonymous and we could see what their names were, their mean was 7. So that's a pretty sharp decrease in like how smart they thought they were in when we could see the results versus when we couldn't see the results. On a scale of 1 to 10, how funny do you think you are? And that question for the anonymous people, the mean, the average of that response was 7. But for non-anonymous people, that was 6.24. And then for on a scale of 1 to 10, how attractive do you think you are? 6.66 was the mean for the anonymous, and then 6.212 was the mean for the people who were not anonymous and we could see their names when they responded.
This study done by Zoe Toy and Jim Rouse really shed light on self-confidence levels here at St. John's. Back to you in the studio.
Well, Mavericks, it looks like we are having another busy spring, and you can catch it all right here.
Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube so you'll get updates when our new videos are released.
And don't forget to check out our new radio station, iMav Radio.
You can listen live and find the past shows at the station website at www.imavradio.com.
You can also download the iMav Radio apps for Apple and Android devices.
We're always looking for great new stories. If you have any ideas for stories you would like to see on MavTV, you can email us at news@sjs.org.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon for another edition of MavTV.
Go Mavericks!